1773 to 1858 కంపెనీ రూల్ 1773 నుంచి కంపెనీ రూల్ ఏంది 1773 to 1858 సెకండ్ స్టేజ్ అంటారు దీన్ని. ఓకే, 1773 to 1858 చార్టర్ యాక్ట్స్. 1773 to 1858 వాట్ ఆర్ ద చార్టర్ యాక్ట్స్? 7. 1773 Regulating Act, 1781 Settlement Act, 1784 Pitt's India Act, 1786 that is Assam Act, 1793 Charter Act, 1813 Charter Act, 1833 Charter Act, 1853 Charter Act, and those things that are there. Reasons for passing the Regulating Act. East India Company was in severe financial crisis and had asked a loan of nearly £1 million from the British government in 1772. Allegations of corruption and nepotism were rampant against the company officials. There was a terrible famine in Bengal where huge population perished. The dual form of government, financial crisis of £1 million, allegations of corruption against nepotism, against rampant corruption against the company officials, terrible famine in Bengal where huge population perished, system of dual form of administration introduced by the Robert Clive was complex and drawing a lot of criticism. Complaints. According to the dual form of administration by Robert Clive, company had Diwani rights, that is obtained after the Battle of Buxar in Bengal, and the Nawab has Nizamat rights, that is judicial and policing rights, has secured from the Mughal emperor. In reality, both the powers are vested with the company. Farmers and general population suffered as their improvement was neglected. See, both the dual administration is the company had the Diwani rights, that is obtained after the Battle of Buxar in Bengal, and the Nawab has Nizamat rights, judicial and policing, as secured from the Mughal emperor. But in reality, both the powers are vested with the company. The farmers and the general population suffered as their improvement was neglected, and the company was only concerned with maximizing the revenue. So the company was only maximizing the revenue. In reality, the farmers and the general population suffered as their improvement was neglected, and the company was only concerned with maximizing their revenue. Lawlessness increased in Bengal. The defeat of a company against Mysore Hyder Ali in 1716. There is a defeat of a company. The defeat of company against Mysore Hyder Ali in 1769. The company, though earlier chartered, had only been given trading rights by the British Parliament. The defeat of the companies against there is a defeat of the company against the Mysore Hyder Ali in 1769. But the company, though earlier has chartered, has only been, the earlier charter of Queen Elizabeth I has been given only the trading rights, but that is only trading rights has been given by the British Parliament. But slowly, as it started acquiring more and more territory, it started acting like a ruling body. And there in England, British Parliament could not swallow this situation, and to put an end to this tendency of the company using the political powers in the name of the trading rights, the company thought it was necessary that these territories should be brought under the control of the Crown. Thus came the Regulating Act 1773. The Act had a great constitutional importance. The Regulating Act was introduced by the then British Prime Minister Lord Frederick North in the British Parliament in May 1773. The Regulating Act is said to be the first written constitution of law of India. It was first taken up by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. It was first taken up by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. It recognized for the first time the political and administrative functions of the company. It was first taken up by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the company. First taken by the British government Regulating Act to control and regulate the affairs of the company in East India Company in India. It recognized for the first time political and administrative functions of the company. First, who introduced the act was a great importance because it was the first constitutional. It was the first act, regulating act, which was introduced in the British Parliament by the Lord Frederick North in 1773. It was first taken up by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. It recognized for the first time the political and administrative functions of the company. It laid down the foundations of the central administration in India. Features of the act: it designated the Governor of Bengal as Governor General of Bengal. Warren Hastings has become the first Governor General of Bengal. An Executive Council was established with 4 members. To assist the Governor of Bengal. An Executive Council was established with 4 members to assist the Governor General of Bengal. An office of tenure of them is for a term of 5 years. It subordinated the Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras to the Governor General of Bengal. Supreme Court was established at Fort William, Calcutta. An apex court in 1774, comprising the Chief Justice and other 5 judges and other 3 judges. Supreme Court and other 3 judges. Supreme Court comprising of 1 Chief Justice and other 3 judges. The first Chief Justice of India, first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So, the first Chief Justice of India. Who is the first Chief Justice of India? First Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was Sir Elijah Impey. There are other judges also, like Robert. One plus Chief Justice and other 3 judges. Sir Elijah Impey, and others is Robert Chambers and John Hyde, and Caesar Lamister. So it prohibited the servants of the company from engaging in private trade or accepting bribe from the natives. It strengthened the control of the British government over the company by requiring the court of directors, governing body of the company, to report its. It prohibited the servants of the company. It prohibited the servants of the company from engaging in any private trade or accepting bribes from the natives. It strengthened the control of the British government over the company by requiring it strengthened the control of the British government over the company by requiring the court of directors, governing body of the company, to report on its revenues, civil and military affairs in India. But there are some defects associated with this Regulating Act of 1773. The major drawbacks of the Regulating Act of 1773 are stated like the Governor General has no veto power. It did not address the concerns of the Indian people who were paying revenue to the company. It did not stop corruption among the company officials. Supreme Court power was not well defined. The parliamentary control was sought in the activities of the company proved to be ineffective, and there was no mechanism to review the reports sent by the Governor General in Council. So the major drawbacks were there is no veto for the Governor General of the Bengal. It did not address the concerns of the Indian people who were paying the taxes. It did not stop corruption among the company officials. The Supreme Court power jurisdiction has not been clearly defined. The parliamentary control was sought in activities of the company proved to be ineffective, as there was no mechanism to review the reports sent by the Governor General in Council. So this is about the Regulating Act of 1773.